it was a little bit hopeless feeling. I remember being like, man, I don't know if what's going to happen here. And it was about 2007. And I remember I would just start adding to our website different product and offerings. And I got a call on a late Friday and I wanted to go home. And I said, well, I'm going to stick around till 3:00 and then I'm out of here. And I got a call from Grainger and they said, hey, we're interested in XYZ product and we're interested in 200 units of this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, well, that's big. And from there, we were able to learn how to manufacture our own tool line with some upfront, costs associated with it, because we couldn't just go to tool manufacturers and buy the raw tools, 2 or 3 at a time. We had to have a big amount of opening order to get in with these guys. So that was sort of the evolution that kicked it off. But I mean, it was meager there for a lot of years until 2007 was when that sort of changed. Mm-hmm. Not to say it hasn't been challenging since then. It has been, but it still is.
We were talking about it yesterday. It's like, it's changed from like, how do you make a business make money for you in a way, right? So you can like pay your mortgage and do all the other crap. But then it's like, I feel like I don't work for anybody but everybody else. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I would love to do the things I want to do at some point in the day. But that never happens anymore, which is fine. But I didn't know what I didn't know, and I still don't know anything. It's like, it's a crazy scenario to be in at this point. Okay, so 2007, Grainger calls. Here's this big order. We're going to make insulated tools, and now it is game on at this point. The lights turn on. You're like, hang on a second. Maybe there's something that we can save here, and we can turn this into something else, and it can kind of start this reinvention process.
Yeah. I mean, that was at least where, like you said, the light came on and I was like, okay, we've got maybe something that is needed for the market, because before it was very obscure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That liquid dust talking to me.
Yeah.
But that was where we did see that there was a product offering in the high voltage space in the United States for a need for these types of products. And we were familiar with those types of products, but we're like, why can't we, contract and make these things ourselves and private label them? So there's a lot of details I'm glossing over, but I was like, okay, this is something here that has some continuity to it and a constant demand. So yeah, from 2007 on, it was we had a product line, and by about 2009, we had established that we had gloves, clothing, and the tools. But that was about a 2-year process between the Grainger call and really 2009. And then you have the 2009 bust, where you have the economy and the mortgage crisis.
And here we go again.
So I'm coming out of school in 2001, right after 9/11. Then we got 2008, 2009 crash. And then we've gone through COVID too. And that's a whole nother set of things that was a very interesting time for businesses as well. But from there, we were just, in those years, we knew that there was a level of need in the industrial market, and that a lot of people just didn't do it very well. They had a good product line, but the customer service and that personal touch was really, really missing in the space. So, and I think it is in a lot of, different industries, almost, across a lot of them right now.
Yeah.
But, we can get into the private equity stuff and you can talk about that. But, that was kind of the quick, for those that are listening, that was kind of the quick evolution. And then you came on board around 2015. And I always use the same stories that you hear me use. So apologies that you have to hear them again. But, you brought the aesthetic side to the industrial market, which had almost no emphasis on any kind of aesthetics. And I'm going to do it. My brother has to listen to this all the time, but I'm going to use the Whole Foods analogy.
Yeah.
The carrots and the cucumbers, right? And you walk into a grocery store and there's something that they do with lighting that makes carrot and cucumbers that have come out of the ground for thousands of years look more appealing.
Yeah.
And you took industrial suits and made an aesthetic. And actually we have done some of those aesthetics too. I mean, it's not just lighting. It actually is.
Yeah. Awesome.
We've made some more improvements aesthetically. And I think you and I were at a trade show one time. I'm jumping around a little bit. You and I were at a trade show. I can't remember where, But there was a European manufacturer that gave us a catalog, and we wanted to hold on to it. And there was an emphasis on some aesthetics in the European market that was, absent in the American market. It's just kind of like, yeah, put it on, get the work done, let's go. There's another, sort of that capitalistic mindset. Yeah, next thing, let's go. And instead of an emphasis on sometimes that quality and appearance, and the American worker varied from what the European market was doing. So we took some of those pages a little bit, and you ran with that, and it's been fun to watch.
I would like to take full credit for all of it, and I will.
I know you would.
So sorry for interrupting you, but if you can like, subscribe, and reshare this podcast to someone you know, it'd really mean a lot to us. All right, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, okay, so there's the inception of the whole thing. What's the hardest thing about running a business that's growing as fast as it is? Because it's like every time we turn around, it's like I keep thinking that, the payoff is just on the other side of this hill, just on the other side of this hill. And then you get to the top of that hill and you're like, oh crap, there's another hill we got to go to. And it's like, what's the hardest thing for you on the emotional front of just kind of like adding people in and just kind of like building this mentality of growth, but not being so crazy with it? Like there's a balance in that where it's like you can over risk everything and then you can also not grow either, right? And you can run the risk of not risking. So how do you kind of like manage that balance of what that emotion is? Because I can't sleep at night.
Yeah. So so the question is kind of like, what's the hardest thing? I mean, I'm going to see if I can be real concise and direct with that. There's the obvious, right? That you're managing cash flow. That's a burden, right? And you're dealing with a company like ours that is dealing in tangible products. So there's constant reinvestment. Yep. Then there's the aspect of knowing that as you're running this company, you become responsible in a sense for a certain level, not all, but a certain level of financial decisions you make are starting to affect now 10 families, 15 families,
that sucks.
20 families, 30 families.
Their kids, you're helping them break generational curses or whatever else that's associated with that. You're like, oh, I didn't factor all this responsibility when we decided to do this.
Had no idea, right? That I was forthcoming.
Yep.
And so that's a tremendous burden that I have to pray a lot about. Some of it I'm okay taking on. Others I'm like, wait, I have to yield to some personal responsibility of hey, they've got to manage their lives. But when you're making big financial decisions that can affect up to, dozens of families, that's daunting. Yeah. And you have to be calculated, and you have to be selfless a lot.
Yeah.